not getting allotments. So has CREDAI not been able to resolve that for them?
There are two aspects to this. Because of the delay, which we all understand, which we all know, and we've discussed about it, CREDAI has formulated a charter for CREDAI developer members who are active in Noida Extension or Greater Noida West, as we call it now. Yes. Of a compliance, where we have come out with a very fair rules that all those who have paid 10% of their booking amount on a given cutoff date, and the cutoff date has been selected very judiciously and fairly, their bookings must be honored, and so on and so forth. Because we do understand that there are also a small element of those speculators whose interest is not to acquire a house but to have a speculative profit or to extort and so on and so forth. So, but we are not trying to see all of them with us. We're not coloring all of them with the same brush. So this is helping. And wherever we are finding member developers who are erring, we are talking to them on a one-on-one. I mean, a lot of us are taking time to speak to them one-on-one and asking them to resolve these small issues and not let it go out of proportion. But those developers who are not member of CREDAI, CREDAI cannot do anything about them.
You cannot do anything about them.
The only thing we can do is that we can become more and more popular and powerful, so that more and more developers understand the value of being part of an umbrella organization.
I think what Rohit is saying, what we have to also ask the consumer to do, check whether the person is a CREDAI member.
Right.
Yeah. Right. We're not that strong in the north. What's happening in down south and in the west is that you cannot sell your property if you're not a CREDAI member.
You cannot. Absolutely. I think that's a very important point, that do your diligence, and your basic due diligence, find out whether the developer is a CREDAI member or not a CREDAI member.
A lot of complaints. And most of the consumer actually feel that these particular developer may be the CREDAI member. Actually, they are not aware of that, whether the gentleman is CREDAI member or not. So in that case, they flush huge quantum of complaints, and that is flooded and
there's
remain
nothing
unrest.
that you can do about it. You're funding projects in Greater Noida West?
Yes, now when it will start, we will be funding. But previously we have no exposure.
You don't have exposure, but do you have that comfort level? Okay, so
as I said, it is a project level sort of approval that we do. If we have the right reputation, the work is happening, we see a sales velocity, marketability is good, why not? But we were lucky we had no exposure.
In hindsight, though, I must say whoever bought is very happy. They had to. They went through the emotional turmoil for about 18 months to 2 years, but now they're sitting way much richer than what they started out with. Just now take a consensus opinion on what would be one of the best affordable markets. When I say affordable for NCR, please don't imagine 20 to 25 lakhs. No, National Capital Region, I would peg it at about, be prepared for about 50 lakh to about 65, 70 lakh. Now mid-market, I would say not affordable, maybe that wasn't the right term to use. If you had to put your money on the mid-market, which are some of the areas, Rohit, which you would find exciting, or would say, go ahead and take a look at these?
See, NCR's micro markets are mutually exclusive, because you don't decide that whether I should live in Noida or in Gurgaon, because both are two separate sub-cities themselves.
And if you have a job in Noida, no way in hell are you going to live in Gurgaon, the other way around.
So they really don't compete for the same audience, because there are other socio-urban factors which drag you to a particular location. But I would say that if you look at Noida Extension, Noida, Gurgaon with its own expansion now, and Faridabad, Bhiwadi, I mean, this whole stretch is really booming and catering to what you said, sub 50 lakh category.
So let me ask the developers who are on that side, are there concerns? I mean, this also has been a debate. Why has Noida, Greater Noida not done as well as Gurgaon? And that's simply been because job opportunities haven't got created the way they have been in Gurgaon. Anil, is that likely to change? Do you see that companies will come on the UP side, stop preferring Haryana?
No, Manisha, it's changing now, because Gurgaon being the pioneer in the development, because IT hub came first there because of the airports and because of the very proximity to Delhi. Noida at the same time developed a lot, and thereafter
very good infrastructure.
Very good infrastructure.
But still not doing as well as Gurgaon, and that's clearly because the office space, commercial space, that demand hasn't come in.
Employment
because of so
employment
is a very important important role.
What's
And
happened?
secondly, I would like to compare with the Gurgaon one thing, because I told you first of all, because of the lack of little bit infrastructure like airports. That's very important infrastructure facility for a
Right.
city. Secondly, because Noida and Greater Noida, if you mix together, they have huge area compared to the Gurgaon.
Gurgaon.
And so they have more number of supplies, and it is quite different in some other aspect from Gurgaon.
Greater Noida actually looks very stunning.
Yes.
What's been happening over the last year, what we've seen in the commercial market is that there's been a lot of offtake in Noida, especially in the IT sector.
Yes.
With the new government's initiatives, it is expected it will further get a boost.
I believe now in Genpact's looking at place there.
Absolutely.
So,
The
so
cost
some of the
arbitrage
Infosys-
between the two
There are a lot
suburbs
of IT
is now
We'll
working.
get them there. We'll get them there.
2 times actually. Yeah.
That is how
A 40
that is how
rupees rental
Gurgaon
versus 80
developed.
rupees rental.
Presently,
And
the government has announced a very good IT policy in UP, Uttar Pradesh. So I think that will boost to the
And the
Noida.
kind of skilled manpower being supplied by UP is huge.
Really?
But they are having to go out of the state to get jobs in IT.
But Bharat, you're not in UP. Or you're moving out of UP.
We're in Lucknow. We're in Lucknow.
You're in Lucknow, but your NCR project is in Gurgaon.
Absolutely.
And let's see how the future rolls out. What about Faridabad?
That's another place, a satellite township, which I think has a huge promise. And
Yes.
once the connectivity improves, it has improved dramatically. But Naharpar is the area. Once they build the interior roads, I think that would be a very nice arbitrage for real home buyers in the middle segment, in the mid market.
I think, Sanjay, you've just hit the nail on the head.
And the connectivity is good. There is a reasonable sort of metro service at a reasonable distance, which is available, and I think home buyers will once again, find Faridabad an attractive destination.
They will find. Actually, I remember 6 months ago when we started doing the property show Naharpar, if you looked at the Faridabad and Naharpar figures, it was the worst performing market in NCR.
Now schools are
And
coming.
in the
So
last 6 months, I'm amazed to see how prices have suddenly risen, just because a couple of those apartments have got habited and people are living there. So I think social infrastructure plays a huge role.
Like schools, some very big and branded schools are coming up there. Yes, employment in Faridabad is not so buoyant, but then it's an arbitrage.
And it's very well poised to actually draw out people who are working both in UP and in Haryana to get
with
there.
Metro having been expanded and it's going to go all the way up to beyond top to Ballabgarh or something like that. So the connectivity to South Delhi, to Central Delhi is going to enhance significantly
And
over there.
what happens when Delhi master plan actually gets implemented?
Anil has a view on that. We were just discussing.
In fact,
There's a lot of supply.
Yes, you were, because I'm just wondering, all these outlying markets which are now have become a life form, millennium cities and great places to work and live in, and then there is a master plan when it's rolled out will release so much land
Manisha,
within
of course,
Delhi.
master plan is key driver of the growth of real estate industry. But I would say that because and next to that is thrust of urban infrastructure. Because infrastructure would take some of the time to be in place, because Noida and Greater Noida has spent 10 to 15 years to create the infrastructure.
I agree.
So even if the master plan is passed in Delhi, we are just
you need the roads.
We
Next
need
to
the
those
roads. We need metro. We need everything. We need water supply.
Zoning
arrangements, everything. Zoning and all that.
So this inherent unease that when Delhi master plan is rolled out, there will be land released, and not just Delhi but even Gurgaon,
NCR.
Faridabad, the entire NCR prices are going to get moderated or come down. Is there a likelihood of that happening?
I think,
Sanjay, what's your
the
view?
price increase
Because they will never accept prices to go down.
the rate of increase will sort of tone down. Increase will happen. A country which has an inflation factor of 8%, expect about 12% inflation on the real estate.
Right.
Because you need a return also on top of it.
On the top of it.
Right. So I think that will be moderated. So it will not be that pressure of making the biggest asset decision in 30 seconds, otherwise you lose the opportunity. So that's going to happen. And yes, we are in a unique situation where the CBD is horizontal and the suburbs are vertical. I've never seen it in any part of the world. So that's probably going to change for the better. And I think it's high time we go vertical in Delhi.
It is. It will make it a much smarter
and infrastructure, I mean, in comparison to other places, Delhi government that way is faster to deliver.
Yes.
So I think if they get a boost, a financial sort of a boost, they are going to change things fast. Yeah.
All right, on that note, I think we're going to conclude this panel. We've basically touched upon most of the points that I wanted to or had on my agenda. Sanjay Gupta, Rohit Modi, Anil Sharma, and Bharat Halwasia. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. So, this is the first ever CREDAI Expo, Property Expo, being held in New Delhi. For the buyers to be credible developers. Very interesting discussion, and we've covered it all: price, quality, transparency, and grievance redressal, and the outlook on what happens once Delhi Master Plan is rolled out. Thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.